Hello, everyone, and we are back again. And we are not back with something we usually say, that is cyber talk. Yes, it is a cyber talk, definitely with InfosecTrain, powered by InfosecTrain, but not a talk which is based on tech. Let's talk about the real world. What the real impacts coming in society on the people, to upcoming generations, to our youth, to all our family members, to everybody around us, because we are the people who use these informations. We are the people who use these available resources. So when we talk about this, we're gonna know more about the society and more about the challenges, about the crimes, and you can say about the threats, and a lot many more about that. But let's just start this with a very funny idea, or we can say funny incident that's happened with me. I mean, I got this idea before because my mom was very insistent towards me, and she was very agitated to me that I didn't like the caller tune you were having. Every time I call you, something like updates coming to me and saying to me that if you're getting call from people asking for money or asking for photos, this could be cybercrime, and you need to call at 1930. Now 193 buzz in her ears. So these all things I think happen with everybody around you. You may have seen about deepfakes and many things. These are very interesting things we're going to discuss about today. But how can we discuss without not having someone who is very power packed about all those things, who is really great at battlefield? Now she is delivering something great into the cybercrime fields. When I'm going to introduce her, I just want to use three words. That's called power, smartness, and being very vocal about her thoughts and views. None other than someone very interesting, come with a packed energy and information. Why? Because she worked formally 10 years in Indian Army. And with that, now she is leading Niti Ayog with the departmental where she's working. It's called consulting. And with this, she always play a very vital role in bringing the awareness amongst the people about the cybercrime issues and the social cause. She is Major Sadhna Singh, and we welcome here on board with us today. And it's really honor to have you, because when we say honor, it personally feel honor because you come from a background of army, you come from a background of being very social responsible talks. And that makes all of us believe that yes, this discussion brings great knowledge to everybody, from someone who is very young to someone who is very elderly to our society and things. We would love to something know from you as well.
Okay, thank you, Anas. Thank you, InfosecTrain, for having me here. And I loved it. I'm happy that your mother, she was angry with the ringtone or the message whisper which was given in the background.
Yeah.
Because I'm happy that she remembered that is a number, 1930.
Yeah. Correct.
That in case if something happens, she remembers that there is a number that she can call.
Right.
And that was the idea for bringing this ringtone for the people.
Okay.
Because most of our victims in the cyberspace, they are either elderly people or people who are not much aware. Like what shall they do when something of this sort happens?
Okay.
So at least in a way, the government has done a really good job. Now people at least know a number and a portal where they can approach and they can file their complaints.
So while you were addressed about this issue that they have implemented, I was reading this and we were discussing also back in time. I mean, we got to know about that, why it came, and it came from DOT back in November 2024 when they informed all the TSPs, that telecom service providers, to make this mandatory that they should have a ring, or you can say they should have a caller tune awareness program where they should have to inform the people who are calling to other person at least 8 to 10 times. And that usually they do for 3 months. This is the time they kept. They have increased, I think, the timeline also, because we have seen 67% of surge of people reaching out to 1930 and informing about the issues. I mean, this 67 is not just a surge. It's something which shows that amount of people are getting trapped in such issues. And that is why it is important that we should talk about these things. And while we're talking about these things, we have brought bundles of information for you. And this is not something which we brought just randomly. We have taken the survey, we have taken the forms from the people who have been getting trapped in these issues. We have taken things from the parents as well, the other generations. So we will be talking about the evolution of cyber crimes. We'll talk about something very fascinating. You talk every time about it. It's called digital arrest. There's we call sextortion, they're sexually extorting the people. We also talk about CSAMs, With this, we'll be also discussing about many things. We talk about that impact of social media, gaming platforms. Back in our time, we used to play game for fun. I think these time fun has been more critical these days. And fight against cybercrime and legislation work, because nobody else can let us know about the legislation which has been done in reforms and new areas of concerns. We want to talk about that. Before we start, just wanted to know something from you, because when I, as a person being part of cybersecurity, when we talk about the threats, we talk about the virus, we talk about the hackings, we talk about the infrastructure failures. But don't you not think this is also a failure where people are finding the loopholes in the systems and making people getting controlled in terms of getting cybercrimes, in terms of making them believe? I mean, what I was reading that in the perspective of many things, we have seen the sophistications have been very much increased in this, the way they are handling the things. So how the landscapes have changed in past decades? What's your point of view on that?
See, when in the initial days of internet, if you'll be remembering, or what I remember is, it was all about small hacking incidents. People
Right.
used to just maybe deface websites, or they'll post jokes on the websites, and that's all about it. When it came to big attacks,
Okay.
at those times, that amount of money and infrastructure used to be only with big corporations or with nations, the governments as such. So attacks were of that scale. They were like done by one state actor or one nation on the other nation,
Okay.
or mainly targeted towards the big corporations. However, with time, with internet being cheap and easy,
Yeah.
like now every household, every old, young child, everybody is connected to internet. There is surge in the cases.
Okay.
Now it is not targeted towards big corporations or nations. It is.
Okay.
It will always be. That
Yes.
aspect is always going to stay. But now we put that under the umbrella of cyber warfare.
Okay.
But there is one more stream that has come out, that is cybercrime.
Right.
That now the crimes, they are more targeted. The only sole reason for these crimes is to mint money. How a criminal, and he or she is only thinking of making money.
Okay.
How they are going to make fool of people, maybe ransom, but you just mentioned like digital arrests is such in a rise nowadays.
True.
And CSAMs and more sinister, what do I say? Sinister things that we don't even hear
Okay.
as a normal population, which is going on in the cyber world or cyberspace, I would say.
That sounds interesting. But when you're saying about this is something we have taken from a student of ours only, and she asked that, so you mean cybercrime, cyber world is a way to connect cyber warfare and national security?
See, I will say that since cyber warfare and cybercrime, they are part of the same cyberspace.
Okay, got it.
They are always going to be connected to each other.
Okay.
So you just imagine a total blackout, a total communication blackout.
Right.
You, me, and everybody is so habitual of having our phones around and to be in touch with each other. Even if we lose our phone for 5 minutes,
Right.
we start panicking. Now imagine a total blackout. You cannot call anybody, you cannot see anybody. Whole communication infrastructure has been brought down.
Okay.
Imagine the repercussions that it is going to have in almost all the fields that we have. So it is a form of cyber warfare.
Right.
Some other nation or some people, they have tried to bring your nation down, to bring your economy down.
Okay.
It is also cybercrime,
True.
right? Cybercrime and cyber warfare, they go hand in hand. That is one. And my other point is the warfare of the perception.
Okay.
That what we are seeing almost every day here in India, like you and me and are seeing, the game of perception which is going in the cyber world.
Okay.
So they are somehow connected. Many of us do think that way. Many of us, we chose not to think that way. But yes, they are connected. At least that is my perception about it.
Oh, look, one thing is, see, Ms. Sadhna, that when we talk about these things, there are a few examples we would love to know from you if you have seen, because I think the generation, जो हमारी generation है, वो भी इन चीज़ों को ज़्यादा बेहतर कनेक्ट कर सकती है उन examples से, उनको as a case study पढ़ के या समझ के कि these are actually the real case, is not about the only talks.
No, there are lots and lots of examples.
Okay.
People, sadly, but people who are in the cyber field, they know about it.
Right.
Outsiders, they don't know much about it.
Okay.
But I think biggest example that I can say of an attack, a critical infrastructure के ऊपर जो हुआ है, that is Stuxnet.
Okay.
If you don't know about it, please go Google it and see how beautifully one nation, it literally brought down the Iran nuclear power plant to its knees. And they did not even come to know for quite a long time. That is one example. And the recent example, we have 2016 USA elections. There were literally 11 Russian military officers who are indicted, and they have been issued a federal warrant also, because as you and me have heard that they were they tried to influence the elections. But I think that is happening almost in every nation, everywhere. People outside forces, inside forces, they do try to impact the scenario of a political party or the scenarios around a government or a system.
That's right. But when you say about the nation, I mean, how safe and how much our advisories are working on that part? We would love to know about that.
See, as a nationalist, as an army officer myself, I shall not praise the enemy, our adversaries. But I think I'm no qualms in doing that. Our adversaries, they are well prepared. They are not well prepared, I would say that they are so well prepared, they literally have a full strategic force embedded in their army or armed forces.
Means you're saying they have strategized things properly?
Yes, they have a full strategic force who's only looking after cyber operations, space operations, how to embed that in their military operations. And they also have one more wing, something ICT, they call it ICT, which looks after the perceptions of the people, how media, like how they're going to shape the perceptions of their own population and change the perceptions of their enemy nations.
So I mean, you're trying to say that they have such a things.
Oh, you Google it, you'll find it. I don't need to say it. It is already there in social media platforms.
This is really scary. You're saying to me that they are going to change the perception of mind of what a youngster are thinking.
Yes, why not? I think that is the best way. That is the sadistic way of thinking about things. You know, I speak it actually multiple times that the best revenge that you can have from a nation state is just cripple their young generation. Feed their minds, put so many perceptions against their nation, against few ideologies, at times religion also, I would say, that they start doubting the whole system. This young generation, within next 5 years, 10 years, they are going to be the generation which will be running the country in
I mean, this is very bold, Major Sadhana, because when you said
my personal perception, first of all, I would like to tell you that this is how I think.
Because it allows us to question of what the legislative is doing, because if a third organization is infiltrating such type of activities, I think this is doing something really.
See, they are very well equipped, that I am saying, but I'm not saying that we are not well prepared to counter for it. There are people, departments, ministries, they are doing quite a lot to counter these things. But with a nation that big, with a population of billions, it's a difficult task. And I think as a society, we shall not only look towards the administration for the things. It is all of us, like you, me, and the people around us, it is our job as well to be aware about things. So I recommend you, in fact, for this podcast, for this setting, we are at least talking about it. Even if 10 people hear to it,
that makes sense to them, all of
something that amounts to something.
Very true.
I remember the time when the data was expensive in India, because when we talk about data, it's all talking about the internet. With time, we have started observing the internet got easier to have it and easier to use it without any rules, because in India we don't have any rules of how to use internet. It's open as like book, you Google it and you can have it. So do you think the rise in internet and the rise of access to internet and the rise to access of such tools and you can say the infrastructures have brought the crimes? We're not talking about crimes, it means a cause which is hampering society, which is hampering the people who are also hampering the real users. It could be you, it could be me, any one of us, and getting users. Do you think that infrastructure has been not set up in such a way where we have opened a loophole for everybody?
See, I will not frame it like that, but you're absolutely right. Since 2019, especially from the COVID times, when people had time to think both ways. but definitely the other way around. What they can do in the cyber world,
Okay.
how they can earn money from there. So many genesis of small scale cyber crimes. Genesis is from that. And since internet is so cheap that at times everybody is having it.
That's true.
You see anybody. It is very rare to find people without access to internet.
Okay.
And that has opened opportunities to the cyber criminals who are trying to mint money. I am sure you keep on hearing on news, you keep on seeing digital arrests.
Right.
And that was basically the genesis of what you were saying of that to have that caller tune.
Okay.
Because the cases were so many. Every second house, third house was actually getting such calls.
Okay.
It is just that every fifth person, there are few people sadly who became victims.
Right.
Few people, they did not hear much, so they could get out of it much.
True.
So I would say that having internet access, that has opened a door for such people. And since everybody, almost every person, Budha, Jawan, Bachcha, Garib, Amir, irrespective of the society's layers,
Right.
सबके पास phone है.
Okay.
Everybody has, people can talk to each other. So it is easier for people to scam people who are not aware,
Right.
people who have some amount of money. And cybercrime, it does not mean they're looking for people who have lot of money.
Correct.
They are just looking for anybody. वो किसी का भी बेवकूफ बना रहे हैं.
It's a big net, can catch big fish, small fish.
It's not just one big net.
Yeah.
It is like it's a web of nets.
Okay.
I get so surprised. In fact, I was sharing with the staff earlier. When I got this call to
Yeah.
talk on cybercrime, I had a few people around me and they
Okay.
were saying that I'm searching for things and I'm trying to make things. So this one girl, she comes to me, ma'am, I've not shared it with anybody, but I want to share it with you since you are going to talk about it. She tells me that she wanted to come to Delhi. She from a very reputed .com site,
Okay.
which provides housing.
Okay.
She tried to get a room, or she tried to look for a room before coming to Delhi as a safety precaution. So the other person who was on the other end, when they started talking, they asked for some money, maybe through 2,000, 3,000 rupees. And he provided with his details, Aadhaar card, PAN card, to make them believe that yes, I'm a genuine person. This is a genuine site. Almost all of India knows about this site. So you don't have any grounds to doubt it.
Correct.
So this girl and her father, they send the money. After a few days, this person asked for the rent.
Okay.
Yeah, but मुझे rent भी भेज दीजिए. Now she gets a little skeptical and she tells, no, we are not going to send you the rent. मतलब बिना देखे तो I am not going
Of
to
course,
send the
very
rent. But irrespective, they were in touch and this person, he stayed in touch with them. Okay, you come, it's okay, then we'll show you. अच्छा है आप घर देख लेना, उसके बाद you pay the rent. Now this girl and her father, they were called somewhere near CP. They were waiting at gate number 2 in her own words. And nobody came. Till this time, this person was in touch with them.
Okay.
And after this, his phone, it got switched off and all. So she was like, ma'am, we were scammed of the money.
Right.
And as a lady, as a woman, as a person, I got so concerned because what does psychology say? If somebody wants to mint money, the buck shall stop when he knows कि अब इनसे पैसा नहीं मिलेगा.
Right.
He shall not be in touch with them. I was more worried, what if this girl's father was not there standing with her at the gate? Why did this person was in touch with her for such a long time?
True.
And I was telling her that, beta, it is fine.
Yes.
Forget about it, it is fine, and you must talk about it. Why are you keeping these things to yourself?
Right.
You must talk about it. But I am very happy that maybe you escaped something very bigger and sinister.
It could be.
Could be.
Right.
If somebody is calling you somewhere, was thankfully I just thank her stars and maybe our stars also that somebody was there to take care of her and they did not proceed. So this is one place from a cyber thing, how it can come to, on ground crime, it can entails to that.
Right.
Just imagine how terrifying it is.
It is indeed. I mean,
How
that is why-
life of that one innocent person will change for life. So crimes from वो 2000 रुपए से लेके and this was one example. I have one more example. There was somebody around us. For 3 days, this person was under digital arrest.
Okay.
Now, when I say digital arrest, it is not that usually it also happens that people they stay inside their rooms only
Okay.
for days. That has also happened for 17 days, 22 days. But this person, that was not the case. This person was coming to office. Again, he was going back,
Okay.
but he was under the observation, I could say.
Right.
And he lost up to 60 to 70 lakhs before he spoke about it to one of his very close person. Then that person told him, "Hey, you are under digital arrest and maybe you are getting scammed." But by that time, the money had gone. So from 2000 to lakhs, and from innocent scams to where it can turn into something sinister, I think cybercrime has come a long way.
It's very easier. I mean, it's very easier for us because people know how to play the emotion and psychology of.
Absolutely. With the that is how we've been raised. Even if we'll be talking about CSAM, you and I are going to be a little uncomfortable while talking about it.
Correct.
Because that is how we are raised. That is how our society is. And sadly, the problem is that we do judge.
Of course.
So I'm telling you that whatever complaint cybercrime portal is getting, that maybe that is not even the 1/20th part of the actual crimes or cyber crimes which are happening on ground.
Okay.
There are two reasons for that. पहला तो यही है, people are not aware कि करना क्या है.
Okay.
How do they report it?
Right.
What do they do? उन्हें पता नहीं है.
Okay.
Second is the shame that they think if they report it, they are going to come in the limelight. And the people, their own family members, their own relatives, the society is going to judge them.
Judge them.
And sadly, that is the case.
And
I'm
this-
sure you'll agree कि कुछ भी, it might happen, you'll get a call, you'll switch on a video call.
Right.
You'll switch it on and you see one person without clothes in front, but you switch it off. You cut that call.
Yeah.
But by that time, your screenshot has been taken. I'm telling you, 80% people are going to think, oh,
He was a.
he's involved.
Yeah. Right.
And now you are young, it is okay. But think of something who is in his old age.
Right.
Maybe they are retired. At that age, उनका इज्जत ही सबसे बड़ी कमाई है. And that is what we are taught in our Indian households.
Correct.
कि इज्जत से ज़्यादा बड़ा कुछ नहीं है.
That is what they're targeting.
Yes, that is how they are feeding, how they are targeting people. हमारे इसी emotion का इस्तेमाल करते हैं वो.
This is very interesting. I mean, with this, let's talk about. I was having a story also. We got a story from somebody, and I wanted to start with that. And they mention is that while we're discussing about this part, in this we will talk about digital arrests, extortions, and CSAMs. And why we talk about it is a story I got to know from her, and she mentioned that in my society I got to know that somebody got issues by child sexual abuse materials. We call CSAMs. And I was only aware about the word called CSAM, but I was not knowing that how really it works. For a couple of months, we were not aware where the kids have gone, and the family actually left the entire society and they shifted to other city. Just for the belief that the kid will be getting questioned by the people around them and ask them that, okay, something is wrong or something related to cyber has actually happened with you. I mean, when I say something that it really makes me very cautious because we see schools are there. We see kids around us. We see kids going to mall. We see kids going to cinema halls. We see kids going to schools. We see kids going to playgrounds. I mean, when I'm talking about sextortions, it's all about sexual extortions. It's basically a point where somebody is blackmailing you for something which we call related to your nudity. When we talk about deepfakes, it's someone that you are not the real person. And I mean, when we talk about deepfake, not even the celebrities are safe these days. Back and on, we have seen few celebrities being also get conscious from that. And when we talk about the CSAMs, I mean, this is something, why? Because I'm saying, because in CSAM, I was just reading it out. I saw that CSAM contains about all the things. It's about the sexual pictures, or even somebody has using the hidden cameras or digitally faked images by AI. I mean, everything is part of that. And while we are understanding that, I would just love to know that what patterns have you seen in these crimes so that our parents or the coming society people would have an idea about all those things, that how they have to control. I mean, these three key parameters would be very interesting to know from you.
I think we have discussed it a little in our previous segment earlier in our talks.
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to throw some more light on sextortions and CSAMs. See, even talking about it is a little weird, but I'm going to talk about it for a greater cause, for a greater use, I would say.
Yeah.
Okay, see, पहले क्या होता था ना, earlier times, as a parent, you did not have to worry much. You only had to worry to be worried about your child from the physical world,
Right.
from the physical crime point of view.
True.
But now that is not the case. I myself have a daughter, and I cannot tell you because I am not aware what she is seeing online.
Correct.
The kind of content that we are getting, made not just YouTube or social media apps. I'm telling about YouTube Kids as well.
Okay.
The kind clickbait videos. Basically, people just want to make money. People want likes. So the content is such, we are not aware what our child is saying throughout the day. And the other aspect of it is especially the games and all.
Okay. Yeah.
We do monitor as parents, we do monitor what they are seeing, क्या देख रहे हैं, वो क्या कर रहे हैं. But what we do not monitor is what they are playing, if they are interactive games,
Okay.
who they are talking to online. That is one thing that as a parent at least I am concerned and I am worried. Second is about grooming of these young children, teenagers, I would say, online. It is happening through social media apps.
Right.
It is happening through dating apps. As we know many, we have plethora of dating apps as of now. It is happening through gaming platforms, I would include. That we'll talk further about that later. So what happens in dating apps, and it is not that only girls are being targeted,
Right.
even boys. It's easier, I think, for to target boys than girls. Girls are inherently, they do take care. They do.
Right.
They are a little skeptical about things. So, somebody, maybe it's like an adult, a predator who's pretending to be a girl, who's pretending to be a beautiful girl on a dating site, and they start dating, virtual dating. That is how the world is, the generation is going right now. And midway, he is going to tell that he or she, like for the person, it's a she.
Right.
So she's going to tell that share some, intimate photos, videos of yours.
Right.
You end up doing it irrespective of your gender. Girls also do, boys also do. And then this explicit material is being used to extort money
Okay.
from these young children. Or to get something else also done, which is more sinister, that we keep on reading in the news almost
Right.
every day. So it is a huge area of concern for the parents, for this nation, I would say. Yes, government is trying to control it. We have, I foresee, you've already mentioned,
Right.
we have National Cybercrime Portal, जो शुरुआत में mainly बनाया ही सिर्फ women and children के लिए गया था. However, with the rise of these scams, with the rise of the patterns in crimes, when we realize that even men, they are not spared, even they are also in a major chunk who are going through this.
Correct.
Now this is open for all. So government is, we have our rules, we have, I would actually see, I don't want to say wrong things on
right.
online. So we have IT Act 2000 Section 67, Bravo, if we see. We have POXO Act in place 2012. We have IT Act 2021 Section 31.
Okay.
We have IPC 1860 Section 292, Prohibition of Child Marriage,
Okay.
2006.
Yeah.
So we have many acts and regulations already on place. However, I would say that we need many more for content regulation, which is being shown online. For age regulation, I would also say, because I'll give you an example that's that is going to sound very weird, but it is almost a personal example. So now, as a parent, what we do, we keep on telling our children how to save themselves in some situations. So there was this one parent who's telling their child that, if you get kidnapped, you shall do this, you shall do this, you shall stay calm, you shall know how to cut the ropes and all. So this child, he ends up, finding it in the internet.
Okay.
How to cut a rope when you are tight. I'm telling you, you take out your phone and you put it in Google or you put it in YouTube and you see what kind of content you are going to get.
Oh.
It is definitely not what a child shall see at the raw age of 5 or 6 or 7. It is not an age where they shall be subjected
So such content.
to such content.
Right.
So social media platforms, they have a very, very big role. It shall not be only about making money. It shall be about the society as well.
Right.
They have to stand up to this. So we already are doing multiple things, but we need to do way more.
That's interesting. I mean, very, very clearly you mentioned about that. I mean, it's everywhere. It's starting from the search or the clicks we do or what we are learning from these days. But with this, there's another thing which we are being observed these days. I mean, in our offices also, we used to get such calls. And while we were talking, you also said that you got such call that we call that parcel scams. What is this parcel scams?
So this is not just one sort of scam. You know, these scams, they are multiple.
Okay.
So that housing scam I told you,
Yeah.
one parcel scam, you know. Parcel, I think every third person nowadays gets a call कि अच्छा मैम you are so and so, ये आपका नंबर है, आपका जो पार्सल, आपका एक पार्सल है जो मुंबई में फंसा हुआ, मुंबई पोर्ट में फंसा हुआ है जो ताइवान जाना है.
Okay.
So usually when a person like me or person like you, we get a call, we are like, मतलब मैं ही मिली हूँ क्या सवेरे सवेरे और दिन में. In the sense, I cut the phone. I do not even engage with such people because I truly feel the more you engage, the more you are vulnerable to such situations. So this is not just that. We have KYC scam, know your customer scam.
Okay.
On behalf of your bank, people call you and they want to know your credit card details. So again, people who are aware, they do save themselves. But there is a chunk of population, and I would say that is the major chunk of population who is not aware. You know, they get worried कि हो सकता है मेरा बैंक अकाउंट बंद हो जाए, मेरा पैसा चला जाए. नहीं, मैं इसको सेफ गार्ड कर लेता हूँ या कर लेती हूँ. So we have something called KYC scam, we have parcel scam, we have job scams which are coming up, work from home scam.
Okay.
So we have this golden triangle, Laos, Myanmar and Cambodia.
Okay.
You know what can be sadder? Like let's have a fake scenario. If I'm the person who's been targeted and you are the person who's targeting me.
Okay.
Who's telling me कि अरे आप ऐसा करिए, आप ऐसा करिए, आप ऐसा करिए, ये पैसा इधर भेजिए. So I am definitely a victim. You are definitely a cyber criminal who's doing it.
Right.
But just imagine the person who's doing it, he himself is a victim.
Okay.
So what is happening in this golden triangle, this job scam, then people, they tell you that we are going to give you jobs outside. Now they call these young people to their countries and they're beaten, they are bashed, and then they are made to do such things.
Okay.
So basically जो आपको you yourself are a victim, the person who's extorting money from you is a victim, and the third party is gaining. So the state is really sad.
I mean, this is very, very alarming to everybody. And when you just said about the KYC scam, and you just said about this the parcel scam, and you said about the sextortion, when you said about what's the real agenda behind that, the viewer would surely love to know what, as you as a person, what measures you follow to just protect yourself, and that other things should also be followed by them.
See, from personal point of view, the first thing I do is I personally do not entertain such calls.
Okay.
You know, there is one more scam I actually forgot to tell you, and that is also happening. That I'm getting emergency calls.
Right.
You know, it is like Anas,
Yeah.
you are traveling from Delhi to San Francisco maybe. Your flight is going to be 11 hours. So you board that flight. At the same time, when you board a flight, what happens? You switch your phone off,
Flight mode.
right? So you are unreachable in any way. So your mother is going to get a call that your son has been caught here in this airport with lots of drugs. He was trying to take drugs to America or some other nation. कि मैम अब तो ये बहुत लंबा फंसेगा और बहुत लंबा जाएगा. And now with the technologies, with deep fakes and AI, the things are so convincing. Now you, at least you're somebody, your voice will be shouting behind, no, please save me, नहीं मैंने कुछ नहीं किया है, I have been, कि मुझे फंसाया गया है.
Yeah.
No, parents, howsoever smart they are, when they hear their children in such distress, they end up doing everything in their power to save their children.
Right.
So this is one more scam where AI, deepfakes, they are being used to extort money from people.
Okay.
I'm sorry, and I forgot the question. What was the question?
The question was basically what measures.
Achha, yes, what measures I personally take?
Yeah.
The biggest measure that I take, I told you that I don't entertain such calls.
Okay.
The moment I find that there is something fishy, because there is something fishy in this call, I cut that call.
Okay.
Okay, that is the first thing that I do. But even if you end up entertaining such calls, and if you think that there is something maybe truth to it, I would request the viewers to take a minute, breathe a little, talk to your 2-3 friends. If you are an older population, talk to your children about it, that I've got, cut that phone and talk about it.
Okay.
if it will be something serious, you'll get that call again.
Right.
Okay? And everybody shall be aware, police, CBI and Interpol, they don't, they don't work like this.
Right.
There is nothing कि there will be an online court, वहीं पे तुमको हम सदा सुनाएंगे, वहीं पे CBI वाला भी आ जाएगा, and CBI वाला फिर आपकी financial transactions भी check करेगा, पहले वो 10,000 check करेगा, कि 10,000 आपको वापस भी करेगा. That is how digital arrest works actually.
Yeah.
There is nothing of this sort. So I would say take a break, breathe and talk about it. And I'm telling you कि इसमें ऐसा नहीं है कि सिर्फ जो लोगों को awareness कम है वो फंस रहे हैं. You find out people, journalists, YouTubers, influencers, people with influence, people who are legitimately, I would say, knowledgeable, जिनको knowledge है इन चीज़ों की, they are also in this क्या कहते हैं उसे, in this scam. They also get stuck in these sort of situations. उन्हें भी it's like a trance. Sometimes they just don't know what to do. Thankfully किसी का ट्रांस जल्दी टूट जाता है, लाइक किसी का 4 घंटे में टूट गया, तब तक उनको रियलाइज होता है मे बी आई एम इन डिजिटल अरेस्ट. और कुछ का नहीं टूटता है, they are in 17 days, 22 days, they end up losing crores and lakhs of money.
Right. I think I realized one thing very interesting you said about this, that if you're getting any type of urgency or if you're getting any type of something which is not in your regular routine, it's coming out of your regular routine, you just ignore it. Go and talk about your peer.
Yes, I would say ignore it is like to some extent, but talk about it.
Talk about it.
If you think it is something genuine, oh मेरा बेटा सही में था उस जगह पे, then approach people, search online, take somebody's help also in that. Because somebody else might be able to think rationally in such situations than you. So breathe, take people's help and know that nobody is going to indict you on phone, on calls, on video calls.
I mean, this is very interesting because there is a fun of that as well. I would say my mother, I also have a younger brother, okay? He's in just class 12th, he's running up his exams. And something very similar to like that has been called to my mother, that your son has been coming back from the school and we saw him being involved in something and we're not going to leave him. So she replied him that, okay, not a problem, bring him home. We would together sit and we'll do it what we need to be done at that point of time.
No, there is this one shorts and I think YouTube also where a father gets a call, your son is here, I'm from police, your son is here, and son is literally lying with him, just besides him.
So, I mean, these scenarios, what lessons would you love to give to the kids also? I mean, why? Because if scenario comes to them, be it is about sextortion, be it is about deepfake, or you also mentioned about, be it is about the AI integrated pictures or informations, if they feel like that, okay, we are trapped. I mean, something has happened to me now. I cannot go. My friends will get to know. My relatives will get to know. What will be the first step they should follow? And that is to be very smooth, that they should not feel awkward of doing that.
Okay, first I would say that before telling it to kids, I want to tell it to parents.
Okay.
Please provide such environment at your houses, at your home, to your kids, where your kids feels safe to speak to you.
Okay.
Where your kids, if he feels threatened in a place, please provide that environment so that that person, your child, he can speak to you about it. I think that is very important.
Okay.
And when something of this sort happens, it is not like one fine day it happened.
Okay.
There are various steps to it. आपका बच्चा aloof रहने लगेगा. Your child would not like you to see his screen sometimes. Isolation में रहना शुरू कर देगा. लोगों से ज़्यादा बात नहीं करेगा. Either अचानक से they will start having lots of gifts or money, or they will start losing lots of gifts or money to other people.
Okay.
So you have, मतलब ऐसे बहुत सारे क्या कहते हैं उसे, you come to know that there is something wrong with my child. So as a parent, as a family, it is our responsibility first to make them feel safe. That is one. And second, to make them aware also.
Okay.
Because somebody has to make them aware. They are too young. And as I told you that as a mother, I don't know what my daughter is saying online. So what do? At night when we have some time, we do talk to each other.
Okay.
Then I do tell her, if you get some sort of this message, please usme OTP mat dalna. Because nowadays children are that smart, they remember all our OTPs.
Right.
I'm not aware about it, that she knows. But since we put in front of them, they are aware about it. So you have to make them aware from a very young age.
Okay.
What not to do. Positive aspects of the social sites.
Right.
keep an eye on the games or gaming platform where they are playing, because that is, I think, that is one gray zone where as a parent also, the strict parent also, you might not come to know what is happening.
The betting apps and all.
And betting apps is a different game altogether.
Okay.
So you need to tell your children that. And to children, I would say that I tell to all youngsters also, not just children, but youngsters also. You need to share things with your family. What appears might be a very big problem to you. Again, it is about somebody else might be rational about it.
Right.
So share it with somebody. Maybe with your parents, then with somebody in your family, your relatives, your friends, your teachers. There shall be somebody in your life with whom you feel safe enough to share such things.
Also, we have discussed a lot about something which we call that is very uncontrolled environment. When we talk about uncontrolled environment, these deepfakes, these sextortions, CSAMs, these are the uncontrolled environment where everybody is, this is a problem. Then we see about the control environment, which we call social media or the gaming platform, where this is available for good cause also, because whatever we are talking will be delivered on social media as well. And from there, our audience is going to talk to us. So these are the control environment where also these people are using the loopholes, the options to target people, to make people believe that, okay, they are on the right path, but somehow they are in the trap. So we would love to know about two parameters from you in this, that what's the child safety part in this, and along with that, we got a question from people as well, that how are these predators using gaming platforms to target children differently than any other online spaces?
Okay. Online spaces, our generation set of parents that our generation has, they are a little prepared. They know about social media sites. So we know कि हमें कौन सी site पे नजर रखनी है. If my child is looking at YouTube या YouTube Kids, तो थोड़ा बहुत नजर हम रखते हैं.
Right.
However, when our children are in that middle age, जहाँ पे ना interactive games.
Okay.
So many of us do not realize that even when your child is playing games, there are many interactive games nowadays.
Okay.
Your child is playing with somebody else online,
Okay.
whom he or she doesn't know.
Right.
अब बच्चों का क्या होता है ना, सोशल मीडिया में तो फिर भी थोड़ा सा दे हैव दैट एप्रीहेंशन कि सामने कोई और हो सकता है. बट व्हेन यू आर इन दैट एनवायरनमेंट, तुम सिर्फ खेल रहे हो किसी के साथ, इनहेरेंटली यू एंड अप इमेजिनिंग दैट द अदर पर्सन हु इज एट द अदर एंड इज ऑफ सेम एज. दे आर टॉकिंग लाइक यू, बिहेविंग लाइक यू. तो तुम्हें लगता है कि दूसरा भी ना तुम्हारे साथ वाला ही कोई बच्चा है.
सही बात.
ठीक है. तो उसमें क्या होता है, दैट ट्रस्ट in that other person is way more than in the normal social media sites.
Exactly.
Now this other person can be anybody. You just imagine an old maybe man or woman or anybody with that predatory skills or who want to, जिनको पहुंचाना है harm इन बच्चों को at the other end. So you imagine a child is innocently thinking कि हाँ तो मेरे साथ वाला मेरी हम उम्र कोई है. And at the other end there is somebody else.
Right.
Then you see what sort of language they are using during these conversations.
Okay.
अब हमारे घरों में using bad language is not a norm.
Right.
But what your child is hearing in this platform, gaming platform, we are not aware.
Correct.
Because usually we do not check this platform. That is second. Third is, look at the content that these gaming platform that they are showing to our children.
Okay.
I'm sure तुमने भी गेम खेला है.
Right.
मैंने भी games देखा है. From a lady or from a girl point of view, if I see, we see all the female heroes or females who are part of those games. Look at the kind of clothes they are wearing,
Okay.
how they are projected.
Right.
So what are children, male or female, what sort of body standards they are looking at?
Right.
उनको लगता है कि शायद ये नॉर्मल है. That is how females will be perceived.
Right.
एक लड़की कोई देख रही है, उसको लगता है that is how I shall look. Maybe that is the idea of being attractive. I would
Right.
say that is how an attractive female looks. So we are enforcing multiple things in our like these platforms. They are enforcing multiple things in our children's mind
Okay.
that they shall not have doubts about themselves. They shall not have. So one is about self-doubts in our teenage people, teenage boys, teenage girls. Second is when they are very young, they don't know who's on the other side.
Okay.
So how they will, कुछ भी हो सकता है. Just imagine a scenario, we are playing, बहुत विश्वास है एक दूसरे के ऊपर. The other person is, अरे चलो मिलते हैं, बहुत टाइम हो गया, ऑनलाइन गेम खेलते हुए बड़ा टाइम हो गया, सॉरी. Let's meet in real life. इधर आ जाना, will meet during this time. But parents को मत बताना, they might not let us meet.
Right.
And again, the situation escalates from there.
So, I mean, that's very interesting. I mean, when we listen this, it really gives an idea that what sort of responsibilities these platforms really following for young users or any type of users. I mean, this is very important for them also to follow some guidelines.
That is why I say that parents, we need to be in touch with our children. We need to speak to them. That is one. And we have various societies and NGOs also, like E-Gaming Federation and other places, other things, who are trying to do their bit to control the gaming environment and the gaming industry.
This is not for children, Major Sadhna. We wanted to know, this is for me also, for everybody. I mean, why I wanted to ask, because I was reading some of your information which has been projected by you. And this is very interesting. You can guide us at how we balance protecting us or children while still allowing them benefit from digital connectivity.
I think you and I and everybody knows, as a parent, I also have a daughter. So whatever I'm speaking is from personal expectation, experience, and what I want for my child. I don't want my child to restrict her from using digital platforms. I want her to grow. I want her to learn things.
Right.
Because nowadays, if I am sitting here, I've told my child that, when I come back, I want to hear five knowledgeable things from you. So we have to, engage our child. We have to tell them about the positives or the knowledgeable aspects also of the internet.
Right.
ठीक है, ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए that I am not looking कि वो क्या देख रही है. I am not bothered if she is busy. I am busy in my thing. No. So this is what I personally started when I go out, when I am not with her, and आजकल जैसे homework is not there, so it's quite a challenge how to engage your child.
Right.
So I ask her, when I come back, I want to know 5 knowledge things that you are going to teach me. Thankfully, she's adhering to that.
Right.
So we have to teach our children about the topics.
Okay.
कि आप ये search करना, and we are going to discuss about
Right.
it. About the tools. There are few tools like AI. Why shall we teach our children about AI, quantum, or cyber things, or any I think any interesting things at a certain age?
Okay.
Why can't we tell them to start searching it for now? And YouTube offers very good videos on that.
Okay.
Videos for children, how to introduce technology to them.
Mhm.
So that is at least what I am doing at my home, and I am seeing some positive changes.
Okay.
So we need to tell our children what to look for in the internet, the positive aspects of the internet, what shall they learn, the techniques, the tools, and we have to oversee that we were talking about the exposure.
Right.
It shall not be an abrupt exposure, and if you see or if you catch your child seeing something like that, so I think we need to talk to our children. We need to make them aware.
Okay.
If that gradually the slow exposure of social media, having open conversations with them, that is for the children. But we have children in our teenage. I think having an open conversation, providing them with positive platforms, being a part of their activities online, it also helps a lot.
Okay, so it's very interesting. I think this is very nice you said. We need to be shadow of them on social platforms so that we got to know in dark what they are into light.
Not a shadow, but yes, as a parent, we do need to kill that. That is my personal thing, that yes, we need to know what our child is seeing online.
That's interesting. We wanted to layer a few more things. There have been people who are not that much technology sound. Okay, they are not technically very much sound. That we talk about some elderly people, like our grandparents or some senior member of the family. They are not technically very sound about the technologies. How would you recommend them, and what sort of suggestion you will tell to them that they should aware of it before getting into any such type of activities or trap that is reaching to them?
It's very nice that you told me this, because I seriously remember I had gone somewhere to deliver a talk mainly on digital arrest or that sort of scams, and incidentally that day my in-laws and my parents, they all were at home.
Okay.
When I came home, I realized these 4 people. I am talking to world. I am telling everybody that you shall make your elders aware. It's our duty as a society, as our children,
Right.
to educate our parents, to educate our grandparents also.
Right.
And by when I reached back, they 4 were sitting on the dining table and they were talking to each other. And it was like कहते ना उसे अचानक से तुम्हें से ज्ञान हुआ कि I have not even spoken to my parents or my in-laws.
Right.
So the first thing I did that day was I sat down with them and I told them where I had gone and what did I speak there.
Okay.
And then I told them that if you, in future, if you get something of that sort,
Yeah.
how you shall protect yourself. I think as a citizen, as an individual, our generation, your generation, young generation, we can teach our parents, we can teach our older population
Okay.
the good and bad of social media.
After this is one more common thing we see, because this is something which I would to ask from myself personally. I think the people who are working professionals, they spend at least 8 hours or 9 hours with their colleagues around them. There is their second family they have actually after the family they're having at their home. Many times we observe there's a pattern change in the behavior of people. That could be something related to their personal life as well or any professional life. But do you think that there is something hidden behind this? Because initially you give an example of somebody who used to work with you has been trapped in something regarding the housings partners. So what's your point of view on that, and what are the key ingredients we do follow with our working colleagues also? Because it is not related to only specific people. Maybe your colleagues can also put you in trap.
Our colleague can trap us.
Yeah.
They can, obviously. They're like a second family. They know you at times, especially in forces and army, and this is not relatable, but I'm going to give an example. Like in forces, we say that amount of time we spend with each other, like with our troops, with our fellow officers, that is way more than the time that we spend with our parents and with our families.
Right.
So inherently, that is a family. We know each other more at times than your own spouses also, I would say.
Correct.
Because you spend that much time together,
Right.
and it pertains or it curtails outside also. So I think the amount of time we spent with our colleagues is too much.
Okay.
We know a lot about them. They know a lot about us. So when you see behavioral changes as someone around you, in forces it was something very basic to us. That is what we used to do. We have to take care of our fellow officers. We have to take care of our Jawans and JCUs who are there with us. So it is somehow inherently there that we keep on noticing. If I used to see that one of my boys is feeling a little low, same but apply to children, apply to other people also. When I used to see that one of our boys, he's feeling a little low, he's not talking much, he's not his usual self. The first thing you come to know that there is something wrong with this boy. Either he is facing problems or family issues at home, or maybe he is facing some issues. It can be anywhere.
Right.
So you usually come to know about your colleagues. That is one part. Now you must realize that if the other person has sinister thought in their mind, they do know about you as well. So I think clear boundaries, both in your professional space and in your virtual space,
Okay.
is a need and is a must that you shall have.
So sounds interesting. This is something very important for all of us to learn about, because we are around the people, and people could be the victim and people could be the predators, both.
I think there is a very good example. I'm forgetting the name of the case. It is, I think it is Britain where it happened. So there is this one, she's like Indian national only, but from generations they were staying there only. So this girl, she was in a relationship with a boy for 10 years, almost 10 years or maybe more. Every time she was thinking about meeting this guy, something or else was happening. Either he was getting shot or something, or जितने sort के बहाने आप सोच सकते हो रहा है. Even witness protection program तक का बहाना it was used, that I cannot meet you because I am here. And this was what she felt, it was a genuine person who was talking to, because she was talking to him. He was या तो फुसफुसा के बात कर रहा है या chat कर रहा है. Now, after 10 years, when she was fed up, one fine day she thought that नहीं, अब तो मैं I have to go and meet that person. तो उसने थोड़ा search किया. It's not very difficult to find somebody's address, and she reached that address. So that was a real person. And this person already has a wife.
Okay.
And he has a full-fledged family. That person is in awe, and he's awestruck because he's thinking, why? Who is this lady? Why is this lady on my doorstep? अब आप सोचिए, for that girl, she's going around with that boy. He is the person she wants to spend rest of her life with. और उस इंसान को इसकी existence का पता ही नहीं है, that if such sort of person exists.
Okay.
So she went to police. He went to police for that matter, that somebody's danger to my family, somebody's coming to my doorstep. Then she also went to the police, because then police realized that she herself is a victim.
Got it.
And it happened to be her cousin, not a male cousin,
Okay.
a female cousin,
Okay.
who knew both the boy, who knew her, and she was just having fun for almost 10 years.
That's why
So people who know you can cause you great harm. And this is the perfect example. It has a whole documentary if you want to see.
We'll for sure talk about that. But while with this, why don't we miss about the fight against the cybercrime and legal framework? Because this is very important. That's how I think our user and everybody will get to know how to control these things in a legislative way instead of just doing. Because right now we got to know about the real learnings, what people should have, and the real learning, real ideas about. So we would love to know about these things because. And let's also talk about the framework India is using because that is more about because people more talk about India's things. So with this, there is very interesting thing we would love to know from you that can you give an overview of the key legislation currently in place in India?
So I think we have many rules and regulations, acts already on place for protection of our digital data. We have IT Act 2000, 2008, its amendments. We have certain rules taken out in 2022. We have PDP bill or DPDP Act 2023 and in fact in 2025 also it is about to come out. We have National Cybersecurity Policy 2013 of existing. And then we have guidelines from various departments based guidelines are existing. So these are the few that I can tell you. The other question related to that is that we have not answered and I think shall be covered here is that what to do if you are stuck in situations of this sort. There is a cyber help number that is 1930. Whenever you are caught up in such sort of situations, please call on this number. Our viewers must call on this number. We have cybercrime reporting portal. You can find the URL online. You must register your complaints in that URL in the cybercrime portal. And then you shall go to a police station, nearest police station that you have. And usually you have a grievance officer in your police station and locally around you who will guide you further that what you shall do about the further steps that you shall take if you are a victim of such things.
Sounds interesting. So are there upcoming legislative changes we should be aware of?
I think yes, there are many legislative changes, but we are going to get to know about them as and when they come. I am in no position actually to talk about them. So let us see, let us wait for them to come.
While you was addressing about a problem, Major Sadhna, you mentioned about the grievance officer. And we also mentioned about people going to police station. Let's make it short and very answer in 1 minute to one from you because people do feel problem while they visit to police stations. I'm not questioning about any specific person, but I'm talking about if, let's say, people having issues going to police station, they should directly go to grievance officer or they should follow the step as you mentioned.
No, sir, you see the cybercrime grievance officer is also a police officer. So InfosecTrain is training their police officers in cyber domain. They are called cyber warriors. So there's many it is an active I would say an active effort from the MHA's side that they are training many police officers so that they are aware about the problems, about the challenges and how to tackle them or how to guide somebody there in such situations.
One more thing we would love to know from you. This is the very common buzz in these days we see about the Internet of Things because this is how we are getting more connected with the devices and the society. So what vulnerabilities these things actually bring in our day-to-day life and what are these IoTs? You can give example as well.
See, IoT is Internet of Things as you told. If you have an iPhone, you have Siri. If you have Alexa at home, Alexa is also present there. But now we have switching on your fans with clap sounds and all. How does it happen? Because of sensors and because these things they are listening to us. That is the basic example of IoT. Now you spoke about vulnerabilities. I will combine this answer with the emerging tech which is there like AI, AGI, quantum and IoT. Anas, I would say that one virtual Anas already exists in the virtual world. Because sometimes, firstly, I'm not going to name who, but there are internet devices at our home who keeps on listening to us 24/7. Otherwise, how will they respond to when you're asking, okay, somebody, like somebody is a name, like somebody. Yes, I'm here. How is that I'm here? Because he or she is listening to you throughout. Somebody is listening to you throughout. Whatever you are saying, whatever if that is a person, if that person knows about your routine, knows about you, how you speak, your voice modulation and everything. That is one. Second is what we share online. So there are a few things that we don't even share with our spouses, with our parents, with our friends. But we do not shy away from asking Google or Reddit or other platforms that. You search things that you don't want to discuss with others, but you keep on sharing and searching in such platforms. Your fingerprints are already there.
Okay.
Your retinal scan is already there in the form of data. So if I want to create, or if somebody taking help from or help of these things, somebody wants to create a virtual on us, it already exists.
Okay.
And I think the data that we share online, like that data consolidated together reflects us more. That virtual us knows us more than the people around us.
Right.
So I find it a little sad. It is a vulnerability also
Okay.
that can be used anyway and anyhow.
Okay. Sounds pretty interesting. I think I would love to read up.
That is my perception. How I
You're adding this, and then it really means that something like that makes us believe it could be possible, because the amount of information they are feeding to in the form of data to the system and servers, I think that is more than what we do day-to-day talk to other people.
Yes, and not just this, with this technologies like AI, AGI, and quantum tech. So this is not my sentence, but I'm going to say just from somebody else is very knowledgeable.
Okay.
That every second in coming future, like right now, what is happening? Like after few months, we are having a revolutionary tech.
Right.
Something like DeepSeek, which happened.
Right.
But in future, maybe every split of a second, we are going to have a technology like that. We are going to have technological revolution every split of a second with the help of these emerging tech that are going.
Okay, so you said about DeepSeek. So you use DeepSeek or ChatGPT?
I don't. I'm a Fauji, and as a Fauji, I follow do not trust model.
Okay.
And somehow, and I continued with that. So if you see, I am not on social media sites other than LinkedIn.
Okay.
Now, since I'm a professional, I do use it.
Yeah.
I follow that.
Hmm.
That I do not trust
That
anybody much. So
Okay.
do not trust models. So I prefer not. I'm not even I've heard about it. I've read about it, but I've not installed it in my personal space.
this is something again new to build in our routine.
That is how Faujis are built. So it is okay.
Yeah, that's very true. I mean, one thing that is very interesting, because he said it to me, and this is not related to our podcast, but I would love to ask, because this is somewhere else also often asked. And I was asked, reading the report of Times of India last week, and there I saw this question of what role do we see for public-private partnership in addressing these new challenges?
See, I think public-private partnership, they are crucial
Okay.
in tackling these new cyber challenges.
Okay.
Not just PPP, I would say academia, government, and industries. They all together, they all have to come together, and yes, they are already working behind the scenes. These sort of this sort of relationship, it already exists, where government, government, they set the frameworks and the regulations. Academia helps the government
Okay.
with their brains that they have. They guide them, they help them, and industry, they provide the resources. So it is already existing behind the doors and in front of the doors also, I would say, but much more is also needed to be done in this field.
That's interesting. Much more makes believe that yes, there's a hope of bringing a lot of new things.
Is it combined effort of these three? And the fourth is the general population, that I say all of us as a society.
Right.
That combined effort is needed from all of us to fight such evil.
That's very true, interestingly. And I think I really like the way we had our conversations, and I think you brought up all my questions very easily. And we ran up about anything. But yeah, the learning I will take away with this discussion is only one thing, that despite being of any situations, or you are a user, or you are doing anything in any sort of environments, be vigilant enough, try to learn new things, and talk as much as possible about your things, because when you talk to your people, you get the real human answers instead of going on googling something out, or if you're going looking out from other options, you may divert to dimensions which is not required for you. So just to narrow down the right approach, this is a very right example. These days, if you felt sick, we used to go to doctors. That is the right approach. You should go to doctor, seek for someone specialized. In the same way, if you feel any problems, seek for someone who is specialized instead of going to any XYZ places. That's very interesting. That's all from my end. But one more thing, I always give a line to everybody, I give it to you also. Anything you would love to share from your end, because this discussion was entirely with you, was based on how protect against digital dangers on the modern world. So if you have anything to tell about protection against the digital world and the digital dangers in the modern world,
I would like to focus, or I would like to bring forward what the government is doing, what already exists in the summer environment. So cybercrime portal, I've already told you. We
Right.
have something called cybercrime portal. If you feel threatened or if you feel that you have been duped, please report it on cybercrime portal. 1930, that is the number that you shall dial. I foresee in MHS, the organization, is doing quite a lot against cybercrime, to fight cybercrime. We have something called a cyber swachhta kendras around us. These cyber swachhta kendra ये क्या करते हैं, ये आपके phones या आपके जो devices होते हैं, इनको check करते हैं. Okay. For anything bad, if there is any malware or anything bad is there in your phone.
Okay.
So please make use of it. That this is one more thing I realized, that we are not aware about the things that are provided to us.
Right.
Cyber Swachhta Kendra. Please take your devices and get them checked. If there's a malware, there's a virus, they will check it for you. Cyber Surakshan Bharat, Ameti's initiative is already there. Certain is doing quite a lot in this field. Cyber Dost, one more initiative on social media platforms, has been launched by the government. So these are few initiatives that is run by the government and the various departments of the government for protection of women, children, and men as well in the social media platforms or in the cyber space.
Okay, that's pretty interesting and very insightful. I think we have done a lot today.
So I'll interrupt you. That is what government is doing. But I think as a population, as a generation, or not as a generation, I mean as a people, as a society, as a whole, we also need to be part of this. We also need to contribute towards this cause. If you know about things, please talk to people about those things. Spread that awareness, and awareness is the key.
Right.
If you make the population aware, if you make the general people around you aware about how these things work and what they can do once such sort of things they happen to them, you are already contributing a lot to the society and to the nation.
That's absolutely one of them is you who are bringing awareness, and that's through which the mode we have used today about cyber talk with InfosecTrain is also very wonderful initiative by them. I really liked having word with you. I mean, it was very insightful having word with you. You brought a lot of information, knowledge to all of us, and that really make us believe that how much responsibility we as a person also have. And as a citizen of India, it's also responsible the amount of knowledge and information we have to deliver to everybody, and that is very amazing. And Vijay Sadhna, we would love to once again thank you for bringing us such valuable information to all of our learners. And one key note I would love to take from you with this, that to all our listeners also, she would be telling us about a lot of things. Now, I just wanted to end up having a talk with you, some very small questions. This is not my questions, I'll tell you. As a host, I was very polite with you and very supportive, but this has been brought by the team from backends. They could be a little tough, I don't know, but let's see how.
I will reply what I can reply.
Yeah,
I will dodge what I want to dodge.
Yeah, that's very cute.
Let's do it.
So, okay, which country is the biggest threat for India right now?
Which country? I think everybody in the environment knows which country is the biggest threat around us. I've already spoken about the strategic force that they are holding
Right.
with their APT groups, the kind of attacks which are launched towards our nation. So I'm not going to name it, but you know it.
Okay. Yeah, we all know. I think the learners can also predict that. For sure, I know that. Okay, the next one we want to know about for the most alarming cyber attack on India in recent years. As for you.
I think the Mumbai blackouts.
Okay.
That it happened a few years back.
Okay. One vulnerability in our national security that keeps you awake at night.
I would say our reliance on the foreign tech.
Okay.
We have started with our indigenous technologies nowadays,
Okay.
but what we have already got, which is like from years and years, now that can be exploited by our adversaries. That it keeps me alive. Not alive, but it keeps me awake at night, definitely.
Our cyber war and cyber crime is interconnected.
Definitely. I told you already. It's like a sadistic nature. If you want to bring an economy down, if you want to bring a population, like bring a nation down, just create a generation which is disconnected.
Okay.
You know, where their perceptions, you have changed their perceptions about their whole nation, about the system they are in.
Okay.
So they are very, very connected.
The last, then we'll have an end about that. But we want to know what steps are we taking to ensure well-being of young generation?
As you've already spoken, that government and the various departments and ministries, NGOs, they are doing quite a lot in this field. As a society, we also have to contribute. But much more is needed.
Okay. I think we are done for today, and it was very interesting and very wonderful session today with Meghna Sadhana Singh. And I hope all of you have enjoyed this really, really well. She brought up great knowledge, not only knowledge of technicality, she brought the real life examples. And I think it is very important for all of our viewers to understand about the real thing. With this, I would like to layer for all of you is that I think the safety is more about awareness than fear. You should not be more feared about things. If you have anything, look for awareness first and then understand and differentiate security and safety into different dimensions. Okay, that will make you feel understanding about this. I hope this discussion will bring a lot of learnings for yourself and for your loved one as well, because we talk about everybody in this discussion today to make everyone aware about their problems and their solutions. Also remember what she said, that digital world could be dangerous for you, but with proper vigilance, proper knowledge and awareness, yes, your fear could be the biggest enemy, but your knowledge and your skills, your right approach can give you a right directions to grow, to learn, to empower your nation specifically and empower yourself. Because we as a youth, whosoever is watching this session, we are going to be the next anybody, the next prime ministers, the next government officials, the next cricketers, anything. So when you are going to do the next part of the future, come up with some great knowledge and great security. And that's all on InfosecTrain, and that's all on CyberTalks with InfosecTrain today. And this talk brought a lot of wisdom and knowledge to all of you. We didn't brought it in the right way we used to do always, the tech talks. We brought a real talks for all of you. Do comments and do let us know in comment sections that what you really wanted to bring in real talks again. Once again, stay secure, stay vigilant, stay ahead. See you guys once again. Thank you. Have a good day.